Well, it's only going to be a quick one because it's hard to find much to talk about really in a 0-0 in an exciting manner, isn't it? Changes to the Wednesday lineup. The big one, Dawson coming in goal for Stockdale. Whether that were because of last week's performance or perhaps Cam's been knocking on the door anyway, but that was the first change. Back four for Wednesday. Palmer back out to right back, Iorford into his more accustomed central position alongside McGuinness, and James at left back. Midfield, Backinson, Volks, and then, well, a sort of combination really. Sometimes Patterson were tucking in, sometimes it was Johnson. It was like a lopsided 4-3-3 at times, come 4-4-1, 4-5-1. Patterson on the right, Johnson on the left, Volks and Backinson in the middle. Windass were nominally supporting Gregory down the middle, but were popping up all over the show, and Lee Gregory was restored to that striking position. I was a bit disappointed with that because I do think Gregory works best with a strike partner. Oxford 4-3-3, Eastwood in goal, back four Anderson, Long, Finlay and Brown. Midfield, Bate, McGuane and Brannigan. Really impressed with them three actually, I thought they were terrific, but that's another story. And up front, Brown, Taylor and Balding. Pleased Gregory were back inside, but I would have liked, like I said, to have seen him up there with a proper partner around him. Windass were flitting around him and going off and finding space, and that's great in a really tight game. You need somebody to go off and find space, but when you're at home against a team like this in the middle, I'd just like to have seen a proper partnership and us just getting balls slung in there at every opportunity. We didn't really do that. In fact, I think one of the things that probably highlights that best is the number of times we had free kicks yesterday. We've got some big lads in that side. You know, McGuinness is a big lad. Iorfa, Big Patterson's in there. One or two units who can look after him sends in air. And square free kicks. Or free kicks that go back to full back and back to keeper. And then end up... I don't get that. I'll never get that. A free kick is a free hit in it. It's an opportunity to be able to put a really good delivery into the box under no pressure. So I'll not really understand that one. Flat atmospheric ground. I think there's a level of expectation. I was going to say, is it expectation? Is it a lack of patience? Well, it can't really be a lack of patience because we've been in shit for 20 years. So it can't be a lack of patience. I don't think there's any fans that have shown as much patience as we have. So is it expectation? Well, how can it be expectation? Well, I don't really think we expect, do we? You know, after 20 years of shit, we've sort of come accustomed to it. So, but it's flat. It's very flat in ground. And when it's flat, you're then hoping for a spark to get crowd going. That's what you'd after. So, first minute, what would you say? First header, first tackle. Do you know what I mean? First shot. Get crowd going. First shot's actually them, you know. Simple ball. We took out with a very simple ball. Goes inside, he just sweeps his foot round it. It's sort of on inside Wednesday's left channel, if you like, between James and McGuinness. Except they're not there. And Kid wriggles in, and he's got to do better. He does really well, gets into the box, and then he sort of, I don't know what he's doing. I don't know if he's trying to nutmeg Dawson as he comes out. He tries a little roller with bottom of his studs, and really he's just got to put his foot through it, and they should probably be 1-0 up after a minute. Very flat, probably 15 minutes before our first attack. Like I said, I don't know if it's meant to be 4-3-3, but it's looking more like a 4-5-1. Patterson's on right, Johnson on left. Windass is dropping in midfield, sort of making a 3, but then Gregory's having to drop into midfield and make an extra man. But he's dropping in there just to try and get hold of the ball because the service is poor. And this is one of the things to talk about. If you're going to get ball forward quickly, great, not wrong with that. In fact, I approve. I like us getting ball forward quickly and more directly. But there's certain ways, isn't there? A direct ball, I think, all right, get it, towards corner flag, get somebody with a bit of pace after it. What we're doing is we're sort of wedging them diagonal balls from full back to centre forward, right down middle. I think Gregory's on his own. He's not a big target, man. If we're going to play them balls, I'd have brought Patterson right in the middle and said, right, you go and stand out middle there with Gregory and let him play around you, and that's what we're going to do. Or Smith, get Smith in there. But if you're going to play them balls, you've got to have a big man up there. Play, just harrying them balls. And by the way, Gregory got out. He were battling for him. He were getting out. He were getting fell from pillar to post. And their two set of halves were just laughing their heads off at referee. So, not wrong with being direct. But A, that inward diagonal ball is a bit of a note ball anyway, meat and drink for the set and half. But two, if you are going to play that ball, you've got to play a big cunt down middle and just somebody who can get a chest and a head. And briefly we did that last 15 minutes when Smith come on. But why we were playing this tactic to start with Gregory down there and his Todd, I've no idea. I mean, it's flat as a fart. The only thing... I often made a really good block. That Brown had wriggled away. He's a useful player. He wriggled away. He would just get it shot to him, and I often made a good block. And there's some clapping there and a bit of cheering. But half an hour into a game, and the thing that's got fans off the seat is somebody putting in a block tackle. I mean, I think it says it all about what sort of game it were. But a bit of a dirge. It really were. And that won't worry you in of itself, because Bannon's missing, Ehekwe's missing, Bayer's missing, big players, But 3 games on spin in it now, this. Probably we have 2 decent chances coming up to halfway. Palmer gets down right hand side. I think he won a few bright sparks yesterday. Lovely bowling, and Patterson played a really good dummy. Gregory were behind him. I thought he was going to swing his leg round it. Then Gregory did dummy. It reminded me of a free kick so a Chinese team do years ago, but the difference with a Chinese team put ball it back in there. So it were like double dummies, and then it come out, and then I think it was Johnson just couldn't quite get out on it. And then right at end, Backinson has a sort of chance, gets hacked away. Patterson tries to side foot in, keeper makes a block, and then I think it's Windass flashes it wide. I think he's trying to get a bit of outside at boot swaz on it, but it don't come back in. But a really flat half of football, really. They impressed me. I mean, I wasn't expecting this to be an easy game anyway, because, excuse me, Oxford did us twice last season. Carl Robinson knows how to build a side, and they did us twice last season. And to that end, I weren't expecting this to be a walking park back for Wednesday by any means, especially when I found out that Byers weren't going to make it into the squad and that Bannon were out. So, all things considered, yeah, it's a clean sheet and a point gained. And these are their midfield. I like their midfield. They got a kid in there, Brannigan. I thought he were great, fit as a butcher's dog, charging about, getting a footing, keeps it simple. And I tell you what I do like, he were very good at that. When ball comes in, he's already had that look, ball's coming into him, and he just sweeps foot round and knocks it out, not even looking. In, sweep, out, liked him. And they got another kid, Bates, I think he's on loan from Leeds, left foot, another one, really, only little, 5'7", something like that. Really lively, little rat in there scuttling about, and but good on ball and all. And what he did that I don't think we did enough of from Centric Park, he drove, he got ball, and he weren't looking for a little pass or give and go. He got ball and he was like, right, I'm going on a run. Can I direct team 20-30 yards up pitch? And I like that. So that Brannigan and Bate, I like them too. I thought they were really good players, and I thought they gave us a game in there, because at the end of the day, Volks, Backinson, they're players who's come from Championship at the end of the day, and I thought these 3 in there, I thought it really gives a bit of a runabout at times. The other one, is it McGuane? Apparently he got him from Forest, he's spent his youth career at Barcelona. But although he's the star name of their 3, it were the other 2, it were that Brannigan and that Bate. I thought, I like them. And that's a bit sad, that, isn't it? When you're looking at opposition going, God, I won't mind him playing for us. Now, if we're playing against Man City, that'd be an understandable thing, wouldn't it? Oh, yeah, I won't mind him playing for us. Yeah, you're good. I won't mind him. But when you're playing Oxford, no offence to them, but club our size, would be like, oh, I wish we'd got them, you know. That Brannigan had a shot from about 37 yards at one, but this is what I'm talking about with him. He touch and hit, whether it's a pass or whatever. Quick touch, so Dawson off his line, but you know, he's banged one from about, honestly, it's about 35 yards, it's got to be. And just, I think Dawson's seen it wide, but it's just that thing of having that little bit of awareness and vision of what's happening in front of you and around you. And I don't think we had that yesterday. I thought every touch seemed to be a bit under feet, and we give it away. We give it away so much yesterday. Touch, we'd do hard bit. I'm not saying lads didn't work hard, because we'd do hard bit. We'd graft his bollocks off and went ball back, and then we'd pick up a 5-10 yard pass. It was really frustrating to watch. We mix things up. I'd have made changes at half time, if I'm honest with you, because I thought it were flat. Even if he didn't change personnel, I'd have stuck Patterson up top. With them diagonals we were putting in, I'd have stuck Patterson up top if we weren't going to make any subs. We eventually get Smith on and Delibishiru on, and it just makes me wonder why we didn't start Smith with style of play that we were implementing today. Probably the one real moment of quality, Johnson gets to that left-hand side and he puts in an absolutely magnificent delivery. And from both teams, it's probably the best ball at day. Smith chucks himself at it, full on, you know, diving header. I think he can get out end of it, actually. I don't know if he takes his eye off it for the fraction. But it's a magnificent ball from Johnson. But that's the sort of ball. You've got to be saying to your wingers, right, that ball, I want 5 of them minimum in first half, and I want 5 of them minimum in second half. Today, for 90 minutes, I want at least 10 of that sort of delivery, that sort of quality. Touch, bang, get it in. But there's so much faff in midfield. It was really frustrating. And Wednesday did go for it last 10-15. I do think the dynamic at team changed when Delibishiru come in there, because he does try and run with ball. He does try and drag you up pitch, give it away quite a lot. You know, it didn't really work for him, but it gives you something different, and you've got to try something different. Smith gives that different option, but it was just a very lacklustre Wednesday performance, you know. And it's on top of last week. I didn't do a video for last week. I was a bit buried in with World Cup, but that second half last week was atrocious. This was a poor game of football. I weren't expecting it to be a great one, because like I said, it's Oxford. Robinson, you know, he's got his team set up. We always struggle against him. They did this twice last season, so I wasn't expecting us to get a result, really, you know. And I had a point and a clean sheet. Come end of season, come May, whatever, I'll be happy with that probably. But you're looking for the level of performance, aren't you? It doesn't have to be great football, but there's a certain level, and I don't think we hit them levels. I think McGuinness were alright, Palmer were alright, Reece James I thought were probably pick. Uses ball well, you know, he's a quality footballer. Poor old Lee Gregory, I mean, he's got recalled. He's worked his absolute bollocks off, he really has. He hasn't stopped. He's been coming into midfield to get ball because it's not been getting to him. He's been having to challenge up with his back to goal with his balls coming out at Sky with 2 big centre halves hanging off him, getting no tough referee. So I feel a bit for Gregory here. But just very sloppy. Get ball away a lot. And for all that experience in there, and we talk about the quality of options we've got, that Brannigan and Bate, I thought the gears are doing in midfield. I've got to be honest with you, I thought they did. Can't express how vital it is that we get George Byers back. Now, we've had these 3 games, 3 turgid, boring performances, but sometimes you have these bad runs in a season. You know, I'm not going to chuck baby out with bathwater and demand it manager's head. You know, I have got concerns. I have got some worries about how late we left substitutions yesterday. The second half last week were absolutely abysmal, but these things happen in a season, you know. Even in probably my favourite ever season of watching Wednesday, when we won League Cup and we got promoted that season, played some scintillating football. But even in then, I can remember a window, I think it was like 3 games, we lost at Wolves. Then we lost 2-0 at home against Oxford, and then I think we lost 2-0 away at Portsmouth. And Oxford and Portsmouth were two crap teams who weren't doing out. Wolves were about mid-table. 3 really poor defeats on spin. And that's probably the best side I've ever watched. And they were playing it second tier. It weren't Man United and Arsenal and Liverpool. That was it second tier against some poor sides there. And even they lost them 3 on spin, and you think, God, what the fuck are they doing? What quality of players we've got one of the best squads in the division. And that's 35 years ago. So you do have these runs in a season. But if it happens next week, and it happens week after that, then that's when it stops being a run in it. That's when it starts becoming the new norm. And when that happens, I think that's when you've got to start really asking big questions. But I am prepared to say it's a bit of a blip. We're going into Christmas. Let's get Byers back. Let's get Bannon back. And we look a different side, And overall, is this squad as good as it was last season? I'm not sure. I look at last season, we had that terrific run after Christmas, and I think a lot of that, genuinely, was to do with we got that triumvirate in midfield of Luongo, Byers and Bannon. And when we had them 3, it gave us a platform for everything else around it. I think if we get them 2 back in the next 10 days, I think we'll see same again. I think we'll see Wednesday at that upward trajectory again. So Byers, Bannon and whoever else in there, Derbyshire or whatever. In the meantime, while ever Byers and Bannon are out, I do think it's vital you've got to find something else to do, because Byers' passing keeps us going, Bannon's ability on ball keeps us going, that creativity, that spark. When you ain't got that, you've got to find another way of winning. Great that we got a clean sheet yesterday, but you've got to find another way. And I don't think them diagonals down middle to a lone striker is the one. If you're going to play them, get 2 up there. Make sure that you've got a big pucker up there. Otherwise, it's get it wide, get it slung in, get runners in there, get supporting midfield players in there. If you're going to have somebody like Windass in a floating about role, then you've got to get ball out wide and be getting it slung in box, and he's coming in there to meet and make a second or a third striker. But yeah, I'm not panicking yet. 3 very turgid performances on spin, but we are missing probably our 2 best players at minute. And like I said, even some of the best Wednesday sides I've seen have gone on runs of 2, 3, 4 games where they ain't got a result or haven't put a performance in. I can remember John Sheridan getting booed, probably my favourite ever player getting booed because he was playing badly at that time. He was playing shit at that time. It happens. Sometimes you can't blame manager every time. Sometimes players go into a shit spell of form. It happens. You don't know what's going off in their own life. But it's just the 3 games. If it happens next week or week after, then yeah, maybe big questions to ask. But I'm pretty sure we'll get Byers back, get Bannon back, and we'll start lifting that trajectory again onto a positive footing and start knocking on the door again. In the meantime, you've got to find a way of getting results. Man at match. I'd like to vote for that Brannigan or Bate. I thought they were terrific, I really did. But Wednesday man at match, I didn't think Iofa were brilliant, but I thought he were looking more like he were getting blocks in, he were winning headers. That were pleasing to see. I thought midfield we were closed down quick and we were a bit sloppy in there. McGuinness, you know what you're going to get. Apart from he gives away a penalty at end, with a blatant pull, it's a silly one. Great save from Dawson. Some people, an easy pen. It's a free shot from 12 yards, you know what I mean? It's a free shot from 12 yards, it's on target. He saved it. That's a great save, I don't care what anybody says. Fair play to him. I thought he had a good game overall, Dawson, actually. In fact, I'd probably have to toss a coin between Dawson and James for man at match. Gregory worked hard. No, well, it'd be Dawson because it was a dull performance, very flat atmosphere at Hillsborough. It's like the players were waiting for something to happen. It's like the fans were waiting for something to happen. Every hooker were waiting for something to happen. Man at match, Cameron Dawson come in. Thought he handled everything well. He made 2 good blocks in the first half. Made another really good block in the second half, and of course he saved a penalty, and essentially he's won us a point. So yeah, Cameron Dawson, well done to him, man at match. Wednesday, it's a clean sheet. It's not a defeat, which it could well have been, because like I said, they've got bloody Indian sign on us these. They did us twice last season, and they could quite easily have done us again. So overall, it's a good point, but a disappointing performance and a disappointing game of football. You know, especially at this time of year, folks are wanting to be entertained, aren't they? I know that's not always going to happen, but like I said, I'm just hoping, looking back through my memory, that this is just going to be that sort of Wolves, Oxford, Portsmouth period, and that we'll kick on through that, and got to get Byers back. That's the important thing. What do you want for Christmas? I want George Byers back in that team.